Hi, this is the first video for New Worlds November. The first story I finished was The Cloud Men by Owen Oliver. A rather average sort of story. What interests me the most is from a historical point of view. I'll read you the blurb about the author in the introduction. Owen Oliver was the pseudonym of the author and civil servant Joshua Albert Flynn, 1863 to 1933. Following a privileged private education, he entered the Admiralty in 1884 and the next year transferred to the War Office. He continued his studies, graduating from London University in 1891 with first-class honours in mental and moral science. His many skills became obvious during the Boer War, when he served as assistant to Lord Kitchener, and upon his return was appointed Director of Army Accounts. He had already turned to fiction, writing many stories for the popular magazines from 1898 onwards, and a fair proportion of these were science fiction. His war background meant that he was interested in exploring how Britain might face all manner of disasters and invasions, from a variety of monsters and aliens. Surprisingly, during his life, he did not collect any of these into book form, and it was not until 2012 that the enterprising American publisher Coach Whip Publications assembled a volume aptly titled Days of Doom. It includes the following story, first published in 1911. And this was published in 1911, but it depicts 1915, and it's a somewhat different 1915 from the 1915 of reality, that being World War One, and it's told sort of journalistic point of view. It has this first journalistic period, and this is after the invasion of the Cloud Men, and it depicts a a world with the much decimated population and sort of the efforts to repopulate the country. And this story really put me in mind of the third Doctor Who, the John Pertwee Doctor Who, where the Doctor was exiled to Earth by the Time Lords, and Earth would so many times be invaded by aliens, and the army group unit would, with the help of the Doctor, would fight them off. And I could definitely see the Cloud Men being in Doctor Who. The Cloud Men are some form of gaseous life form. They're basically evil clouds, and they descend on people and they smother them. Drowned being a word for dead. It also has a sort of a resemblance to, and it mentions Wells, H.G. Wells' War of the Worlds, because it does sort of bear a resemblance to that story. The invasion of Earth, and people in humanity not really being prepared for it. It's a sort of a survival sort of horror. It's told from the point of view of two people. The experience of John and Mary Pender, who meet up in form a romantic relationship. Also quite similar to the very recent BBC adaptation of War of the Worlds. So they survive. It sort of peters out towards the end of the story. The Cloud Men sort of abruptly leave. They form sort of black spirals and go back up into the high atmosphere. But it did seem just the story needs an ending, so the Cloud people leave, and after that they want to rebuild, sort of similar to our own times, build back better type of thing. But it does sort of peter out towards the end. I was sort of losing sort of interest in the story, but I would say it's an average story. I don't know if I'll seek out that Days of Doom publication, but I'll definitely keep an eye out for it. And the story comes from Menace of the Monster, edited by Mike Ashley, and I'll be reading more stories from this. Also, in addition to the AI and robot section of New Worlds November, I'm going to be reading AI Super Toys Last All Summer Long by Brian Aldiss. It's a collection of 3 stories. Super Toys Last All Summer Long, Super Toys When Winter Comes, and Super Toys in Other Seasons. And this is what the AI Steven Spielberg movie is based on. I remember that movie really making me cry. So it's been quite a long time since I read this book. I think it is quite a sad story, but I'll see. So that's the first short story of New Worlds November. Hope lots of people are taking part and enjoying it. Thanks for watching. Bye.